The most recent episode of Helluva Boss introduced us to Andrealphus, someone who seems to be even more evil than Stella, and perhaps wants to kill Octavia, which is the highest stakes the show can have in my opinion. So today we're going to talk about Andrealphus, his place in the Goetia, and what's really going on here. My name is Deepcut, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump in. Andrealphus first appeared in an early animatic for Season 2, where he was assumed by many fans, including myself, to be a different Ars Goetia member called Epos. The Ars Goetia demons are based off of the real-life writings from the Lesser Key of Solomon, which claims 72 demons that Solomon knew how to summon that assisted him in the construction of King Solomon's temple. The number 72 is one of the more obscure ones in mysticism and mythology. Ancients had a heavy focus on the number 360 for the 360 degrees of a circle, which when divided by 5 became 72. In some spiritual schools of thought, these 72 divisions were 72 souls that project their energy onto the earth one at a time, through the sun as it travels through them. This in turn led to the idea of 72 angels and 72 fallen angels, or demons, to inspire the structure of the Ars Goetia. In the real-life writings of the Ars Goetia, they are a variety of demons with different depictions, without there being some theme uniting them. But in the show, they all appear to be bird-based demons, as seen at the Ars Goetia party thrown by Stella in Season 2, Episode 1. Stella seems to be the first Goetia character they designed who in real-life writings is in fact an owl. With the Goetia family in the show, the bird theme was retained. However, the demons that don't initially have bird themes will likely incorporate other aspects of their real-life depictions into their character. Asmodeus, for instance, is described as having a rooster's tail in some writings, but also is depicted as a three-headed being, one head of a man, a bull, and a ram, which was incorporated into his design while maintaining his bird theme in the show. Andrealphus is one of the other Ars Goetia members that in real life was described as being a bird, specifically a peacock, inspiring his blue colors and extravagant appearance in the show. In the Ars Goetia, the 72 demons are divided into a hierarchy with kings at the very top, such as Asmodeus and Stolas' father Paimon, among others. Paimon indicates that he has other children in the hierarchy that require his attention, so even though Stolas is a prince, he isn't seen as particularly more important than someone like Andrealphus, who is just a marquis. Like Paimon, the other kings also probably have their own children in various parts of the hierarchy of the 72 royals, allowing for Stella and Andrealphus to not be a direct relation to Stolas. Like Andrealphus with Stella, most of the Goetia royals probably have their own siblings who don't fit within the hierarchy of the 72 demons with a specific role, but are instead part of the larger Goetia royal bloodline. There may be entire large tribes of these various Goetia bird demons that exist as their own sort of species in hell. Stolas is known for his prowess with astrology as well as plants, inspiring his space-themed powers and the interesting plants he has around his home. His focus on astrology was mandated as part of his role in the Ars Goetia, with Paimon needing him to read the prophecies of the stars and uncover their meanings, something I'll be making a video about really soon. This job is so important that Stolas was required to sire a precautionary heir, Octavia, which was the entire reason he was forced to marry Stella. This is so that if Stolas dies, someone can pick up where he left off, ideally with some training before that happens. Andrealphus has his own place in the Ars Goetia, but is listed in the real-life writings as also having an interest in astrology, and is probably not working on projects as interesting as Stolas is. Stolas needs to uncover the prophecies that will help Hell turn the tides in the supposed final battles against Heaven, I presume, so they can conquer the Earth and all of existence, really. As we've seen in Season 2's premiere, though, Stolas isn't doing a very good job of this, and seems really frustrated with the constellations coming out of the book he's opened. In the most recent episode, Stryker kidnaps Stolas on the order of Stella, something Andrealphus had no idea about and actually even opposed. Stella seemed really proud of herself, but as Andrealphus says, the Stolas fortune would go straight to Octavia, who may not want to share it with her mother considering it's her fault that her dad was murdered. This doesn't seem to matter much to Andrealphus, but it's the perfect bait to use on Stella, to get her to hold off on killing Stolas so that she could be the one to inherit all of his money. Andrealphus called Octavia a precautionary heir, the same term used by Paimon, indicating that in addition to the money, Stolas' position in the Ars Goetia is something they can use to their advantage. With Octavia dead first, then Stolas killed after, Andrealphus would be the best candidate to take over the job perhaps, and Paimon might be happy to hand it over after Stolas has slowed down his progress for so long, his issue starting before the time of the show's pilot. Andrealphus would be raised from Marquis to Prince, and Stella could potentially rise through the ranks of importance with him and inherit Stolas' fortune to live whatever lifestyle she wanted. Stella here seems to not really care what happens to Octavia, though as Andrealphus indicates, she's actually really stupid, and only got as far as she has so far because of her looks, being elsewise repulsive and a detriment to her own friends and family. Stella may not even be aware of what Andrealphus is planning for Octavia, but more scary than that is the possibility that Stella will understand the plan and will still support it. Octavia is her own child, but we've only ever seen her smile once at Octavia in a photo from their time at Lululand when Octavia was a kid. Elsewise, Stella has not been speaking to her daughter on screen and seems to ignore her when yelling at Stolas. It would be very scary, but very hell, for Stella to not even care what happens to Octavia. She mostly wants to hurt Stolas, and taking his life is one way to do that, but it would be pretty twisted if she decided that hurting Octavia was the better way to get revenge on her husband. Stolas got some real damage from the angelic weapons that Stryker used on him, and it made Blitz realize that the stakes are real here, which escalated the stakes for us, as the only thing worse than killing the Owl Daddy, perhaps, is killing the Owl Daddy's own daughter. Of course, I can't imagine that will ever actually really happen, but by moving the target to Octavia, it further fuels the possibility of Stolas himself dying. He survived this round, but when it comes to Octavia, I think Stolas would give himself up willingly. Stryker or Stella or whoever wanted to kill Stolas would just need one bullet, and this really does feel like something that was foreshadowed all the way back in episode 2 of season 1. When Octavia was a child, Stolas took her to the stars and sang her a beautiful song about how no matter what happens, she will be okay, even in the apocalypse that will come, and even if Stolas himself is no longer around, setting up the possibility that before the series ends, perhaps in its final moments, Stolas could give up his life to ensure that Octavia will be okay. There are 72 Goetian nobles, with Stolas' castle being in the Pride Ring, and it being Paimon's castle before that. He seems like a Pride local as well. It is possible that all 72 Goetian nobles serve their duties primarily in the Pride Ring, however Asmodeus is a king in the Ars Goetia, but also the Prince of the Lust Ring. Previously, I had theorized that the Goetia are spread across the 7 rings of hell as needed, with other Goetian nobles even just serving under Asmodeus in Lust. But it is possible that Asmodeus just serves as a prince in Lust and travels out to Pride for Goetia business, something that wouldn't be inconvenient with portal travel. The Goetian nobles seem very strongly focused on the conquering of Earth, and the Pride Ring seems to be where a lot of that business goes down, considering how many businesses in the IMP district focus on traveling to Earth. Andrealphus' castle appears also in the Pride Ring, though we can't be too sure where. It has an icy theme, which may be an icy part of the Pride Ring, but it may also just be from the power of Andrealphus himself. Andrealphus as a male peacock is mostly blue, but colors like green, which are often found on male peacocks, were excluded to play into his icy snow theme. It would be really funny if there is a battle coming up where Andrealphus gets to fight with Elsa-style frozen powers. It would be fun to have a real battle unleashed between 2 Goetian nobles such as him and Stolas, and it seems like an obvious finale choice somewhere down the road, but what do you guys think? Let me know your theories on Andrealphus in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe because we'll be putting out more Helluva Boss lore videos, including a breakdown of everything we know about the Envy Ring so far. See you guys then.